one of us here was very lucky to, yes, you, Wabba.
I was acting.
We got to play a brand new game called Lost in Random. Now, I'll be totally honest. I didn't know much about this game until Wabba told me about it a while back, and so I looked into it. But I would love to know your impressions, Wabba.
So great. So it's through the EA Game Changer program, and it's developed by Zoink Games, which is a 80-person studio in Sweden, and they've done games like Fee and Stick It to the Man, which I thought was fun. I think that was a PS Plus game way back, and it's about two sisters in a world. The names are Odd and Even. So the game is Lost in Random, and it's all about chance and dice and board games. And what happens is, like the Hunger Games, when you turn, like, it reminds me of that. Once you turn 12, you roll a dice, and that determines where you live. So there are 6 worlds, like one Croft, 2 Topia, like 6 Topolis, 1 through 6. I forget all of them. And what happens in this, again, this is very early story, just to give you, and it's in the trailers. But your sister, Even, I think you're Odd. I forget which the main character's name is. Rolls a 6, and she goes and lives with the queen. But everyone's happy except the queen. So you kind of have an idea that maybe this queen isn't the best. In this world of dice, there's actually only one. There's a lot of lore. The evil queen, has like the one dice. And there was like a war in the past where all dice were outlawed and all this stuff. And now you're just trying to figure out a way to get your sister back and figure out what's going on with her. And you go on this adventure, and you actually find a dice of your own named Dicey. And they gave us a little preview of it. They also gave us a very early build to play that took us through the first hour and a half. And it's a really unique game. It's very fairy tale-ish. It looks like Little Nightmares meets, Nightmare Before Christmas. And it also has a little bit of the gameplay is very I like it because it's an element of turn-based gameplay. You can stop time, roll the dice, and decide what you want to do. Card building. You get different amounts of cards based on, like, when you hit the enemy in a certain spot, like enemy or energy cubes will drop. And then you get to plan out your next move. So it's a little bit of a, live action, and then that turn-based stop time, decide what you want to do. So it's a nice little charming game that they showed us.
So the combat is turn-based?
Not fully. So what happens is you run around, you have a slingshot. That's like your main weapon. The enemies have like these blue glowing things on them. You can't do anything unless you have enough power to roll your dice. So you shoot the little blue glowy thing, some cubes fall, you can collect it, or your little dicey boy can collect it. And then once you get enough, you stop time, you roll the dice, and see what you got. Based on that number, maybe you can get a sword, maybe you can get a really powerful slingshot, maybe you can get a bomb. Ooh.
So
And
it's
that'll do damage to the enemies.
so it's almost this, and this is weird that I'm comparing it to it, but it's almost a little bit like Hades, eh, Pez? Because in Hades you get those power-ups and it's random.
Yeah, the boons. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's exactly what it sounds like. I probably should have started with that.
So Waba, do you find the systems that you have played so far? Because it sounds a little confusing to me. Did you find it confusing, or does everything flow pretty well?
It flows well because they start you off with a slingshot, and then you can shoot like things that aren't enemies, and then they take you to a point where you have to start figuring out combat, and it takes you against one very weak enemy, and that's where it starts to introduce the mechanics. It happens about like an hour into the game before. Well, actually, the combat like happens like right in the beginning, just to show you like this is how you hit something. But the actual like stop time takes place about an hour in, once you've had a lot of time to figure out how to move and what the game is and what the story is, and having it build upon that. But they do it with one enemy. It doesn't like just throw you in. You have to like figure the system out. There's like like not menus, but little pop-ups that tell you exactly what's going on. So they present it in a way, and I had to play it on PC, which like I don't. So the fact that I was able to like figure it out on PC,
I don't.
I
Mouse and
Wappa was
keyboard or
sassed.
controller?
no, I couldn't. I plugged my controller, and I don't know if it's because of the alpha, and I'm just sitting there like a fool, like clicking X, and I'm like, oh man, I'm doing like because I'm not gonna not play.
Right.
So I had to play on mouse and keyboard, which was very challenging. But
I'm proud of you.
if a dope like me can figure it out, then there's hope for all of you.
Proud of you.
So Waba, if you would you recommend this to the listeners or the viewers? This is YouTube.
Yep, I would. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I've been looking forward to it since I heard about it, and then when this opportunity came up, I like jumped on it. They actually have, and I put this in my video. I did a Court Lalonde shout out with your Twitter handle. That they have a mode that is called story mode, where the combat is. I don't even know if there's combat. I haven't
Ooh.
tried it, but it
Ooh.
either is extremely easy or it doesn't exist because they want
Oof.
you to experience a story.
Oof, it's got me in the feels.
And it's about they said like maybe a 12 to 18 hour game, depending on how much like looking around you do. But it's not a long game. It's probably, it's a nice, maybe 1 or 2 sessions, depending on how long you play. But the fact that they had that, they said it was good. And someone asked a question, can my kids play this? Because it's really a fairy tale. It's just a really dark one. Because they wanted to explore something that wasn't as like brightly colored and light as some of their other games. And they said that if your kids can handle Nightmare Before Christmas or the darker Harry Potter movies, they'll be good. Otherwise, you might want to hold off a bit because it is kind of creepy.
9 years old.
Is that
yeah? Well, I'm looking at so. Anyways, well, I was talking about like I want to watch my kids to watch Jurassic Park, and someone already told me like
if they can watch Jurassic Park, then they can play can play Dead Space.
Not until they're 8 is what I got told.
But yeah, I think it's great, and I'm glad they gave us a chance to look at it. And actually, it's coming out everywhere. So it's coming out on PS4, not PS4, PS5, Xbox, whatever the old Xbox new one is, Switch, and PC. So they want everybody to play it, and it's coming out on September 10th. But it's fun. Check it out. Check it out for something new. It's going to be everywhere.
Awesome. So you heard that here first, guys. Waba says play it. So if you don't like it, go after him. Thank you everybody for listening to Waba's impressions on Lost in Random.